Hey everyone, welcome to NoDQ Live here on NoDQ.com. Thank you guys for your patience. I started a few minutes late here. For those of you watching live, we already have over 60 live viewers right as I start this. Please share this. Please spread the word on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, MySpace, of course, any site you can. Anybody you know who watches wrestling, call them up, text them, smoke signal them, and let them know about NoDQ Live. How was Raw? I did not watch from Hamp Connell. I thought Raw was a decent show, not a great show. It was interesting. There were some interesting parts, some not so interesting parts, but overall, I would give it a slight thumbs up. Of course, we had the big segment to set up the rumored main event for TLC, which appears to be the Shield reunion. We had the Miz Taraj, with the assist of steel chairs, take out Roman Reigns. Time will tell if that is in fact going to lead to a Shield reunion, but it's pretty obvious now. We had the three Miz Taraj members doing the old Shield pose to end the segment. Maybe it's going to be a chairs match at TLC, since it is TLC after all, and you have to have your mandatory tables match, your mandatory ladder match, your mandatory chairs match. That's what it's looking like to me, at least, or maybe it'll just be 3-on-3. But what I found interesting about that segment was that the Miz Taraj needed the steel chairs. They needed that assist. The three Miz Taraj members could not get the best of Roman Reigns without the steel chairs. For me, I'm not really feeling this match all that much, even though, like everyone else, I like the idea of a Shield reunion. The only problem is that the Miz Taraj doesn't exactly have the best credibility. That's my opinion on it, at least. It feels like Survivor Series 2011, if you guys remember The Rock and John Cena against The Miz and R-Truth. The Miz and R-Truth had no credibility going into that match, and it felt flat for me. It was supposed to be The Rock's big comeback, his first match back, and I wasn't impressed with it. I was not blown away by it at all, and I felt it was a very disappointing return for The Rock. That's how I feel this match is. I feel like the Miz Taraj just doesn't have the credibility, and if this was the plan for a while, WWE should have built up Axel and Bo Dallas more. Again, it's like Jinder Mahal. You just throw these guys into a main event match. No, it doesn't work that way. These guys have been jabronis for the longest time, and all of a sudden we're supposed to take them seriously. I will be talking more about Raw, including the Enzo segment, so for those of you just tuning in, please be patient. I will cover everything on Raw and get to some of your comments and questions. Tyler Joseph Smith, asked if this is an Enzo babyface turn. I would assume so. The crowd apparently still hasn't gotten the memo that Enzo is a heel. The fans are still cheering for him, but I will talk more about the Cruiserweight segment in a minute here. Right now I want to talk about the Shield segment with, not the Shield yet, but the tease for the Shield and the Miz Taraj at the TLC pay-per-view. I would have liked to have seen the Wyatt family versus the Shield. If the Shield is going to do a reunion match, why not reunite the Wyatt family as well? I was a huge fan of that Shield versus Wyatt family match from 2014, and I strongly prefer that over Bray Wyatt versus Finn Balor again. And they brought back the little kid singing "He's Got the Whole World in His Hands." Why? Why must they torture us with more Bray Wyatt versus Finn Balor? Enough is enough. I have no idea why WWE doesn't just bring back Harper and Rowan and reform the Wyatt family and do something interesting with them. Looking at some of the comments here. Wyatt family versus the club, that's why. You know what? That would be interesting too. That's something else you could do. But, I mean, we had no Anderson and Gallows on this show, so that is a possibility. Although, is WWE really going to do two six-man tag team matches on a pay-per-view? That's the only reason why I don't know if that is going to happen. Tomas said Bray Wyatt is overrated ASF. whatever that means, I think as the F word. I think Bray just needs to do something different. It's so stale. He does the same damn thing every week, and he needs to either turn babyface or change his promos, change his style of doing things. It's just so repetitive with him. Ooh, Rohave No Chill, NoDQ is overrated. Burn! That was harsh, my friend. You're going to put me into my little safe space. I'm going to cower away and cry because of that comment. CM Punk best in the world. I think Rusev and Wyatt should just be babyface. Well, I'm not sure about Rusev. I mean, that's an entirely different situation with him. Thoughts on the double turn. So let's go ahead and talk about the main event segment, which was a cruiserweight segment for the first time ever. Really interesting choice for a main event segment. I will say I was entertained by it. Do I think it's good for the cruiserweight division? I mean, it's interesting, but I'm not sure if this is going to help the cruiserweights at all in the long run. Enzo essentially he pulled a Kevin Nash on the cruiserweight division. All he needed to say was, y'all a bunch of vanilla midgets, and he truly would have been Kevin Nash. Yeah, I think Enzo is supposed to be a heel. I feel like he's been a heel for weeks now, and the fans haven't really picked up on it yet. They still cheer for him. Enzo, I mean, his delivery was excellent. The problem is he was just shooting on the cruiserweights, and going back to WCW, that doesn't exactly make any new stars. I mean, he's out there saying, I'm the real star. Nobody cares about you guys. If WWE combined all the merchandise money from the cruiserweights, it still would not equal Enzo. He was just harsh as hell. He was ripping into Rich Swann for being small, and one of the guys for having no charisma. Somebody said Finn Balor looks like a soccer player. Enzo and Cass reunion, said somebody else. Well, Cass isn't going to be back anytime soon. I thought maybe WWE might do something different with this segment. I thought maybe WWE would have a surprise return. Now, I know some fans were hoping, and I think that this was just wishful thinking. I think some people were hoping that WWE would somehow bring in the Bullet Club. I mean, that was never going to happen. You know, the Bullet Club, for those of you that don't know, they appeared before Raw outside the arena. They did a DX style segment where they had the microphone and they were talking to the fans, and they were doing the let us in deal and that sort of thing, you know, trying to fire the shot at WWE just like DX did at the WCW headquarters. Daniel B, said, what happened to Big Cass? Big Cass got hurt. He is on the shelf. He will not be back for a while now. Roger says, can I get a 2 sweet, Aaron? No, you cannot get a 2 sweet from me. If we get 300 viewers, I will give you a 2 sweet. But you guys got to keep spreading the word. We're actually doing really well tonight. We are at 234. I'll tell you what, if we get over 250, I'll give you a 2 sweet. I'll give everybody a 2 sweet. Was Samoa Joe back? No Samoa Joe on this show either. We had no Anderson and Gallows, no Samoa Joe. Braden says, will Lesnar be back for Survivor Series? I would think so. It's a major pay-per-view. I would expect Brock Lesnar to be at Survivor Series. Then again, he's not going to be at TLC, even though TLC is in his neck of the woods, Minneapolis. But yeah, it does seem like Finn Balor and Brock Lesnar is inevitable. Balor did mention it on Raw. He said that his next chapter is to regain the title that he never lost. He had to forfeit. But then we had the whole Bray Wyatt tease, so I'm assuming we're getting Balor and Wyatt one more time, and if Balor is going for the title, I would assume Wyatt's losing yet again. So the whole thing to me just really, I'm not sure what the hell is going on with this. Jason said, was Braun Strowman on the show? Yes, he was. WWE tried to rebuild Braun Strowman after his defeat at No Mercy. And for those of you that missed it, you could check out my review video. I was very disappointed with that. Watch the video on NoDQ.com. WWE tried to build Strowman back up. He destroyed Kurt Hawkins, and then he beat Dean Ambrose in a match. And now next week, Rollins is going to step up and face Braun Strowman. And I would assume that Rollins is likely going to be putting over Strowman as well. And then Ambrose and Rollins will move on and get involved in the Miz-Taraj storyline. Fighting Kurt Hawkins isn't a way to rebuild credibility. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, that was a cool spot with the throw through the stage, setup that they had there, the wall. But they should have done that at the pay-per-view. That's what the fans wanted to see. I told this to a friend of mine on Twitter and Facebook. At No Mercy, the fans in the building wanted to see a demolition derby. They wanted to see Strowman and Lesnar break stuff and just destroy everything, like two tornadoes clashing. And, you know, that spot where Hawkins went through the stage, they should have done something like that at the pay-per-view. Somebody said, how do you work for NoDQ? I own NoDQ. I'm the guy in charge, so if you hate the tweets on Twitter, you're watching this from Twitter, I'm the guy responsible, so come at me, bro. All the hate mail goes to me. What GFW stars do you see going to WWE from David? I'm hoping we'll see Eli Drake. Eli Drake, of course, was at the Booker T event last night, Sunday night, and Jeff Meacham got a chance to talk to him, and Interstate Kyle got a chance to meet him. Eli Drake is one guy I would like to see in WWE at some point. Same thing with EC3, of course. Jeff Larson says, I love NoDQ. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I thought Sasha was turning heel tonight from Coxay97. It looks to me like WWE is finally starting to go in the direction of Bayley versus Sasha, which is something we thought was going to happen forever. And it's just been delayed. At this point, honestly, I really don't care that much about it. I feel like the ship has sailed. It's too little too late. I'm not invested anymore. But it did seem like a little bit of a tease for an eventual feud. The question is, who goes heel, Sasha or Bayley? What do you guys think? Braden said, good to see Mickie James on Raw tonight. Yeah, I agree. I thought that was a pretty good segment between Mickie James and Alexa. I'm glad Mickie's finally being used and getting some TV time. And it was a good promo between the two of them. So, yeah, I was definitely happy with that. John said, how do you save 205 Live? Well, apparently you put Enzo in the main event segment with the cruiserweights, and you have Enzo destroy each and every one of them one by one. But Enzo, of course, did get laid out at the end. Neville took him out, and the crowd was behind Neville at the end. So, yeah, it does appear like Neville is now a babyface. It's clear now. Hopefully the fans start to realize it. It felt like they did by the end of the segment. Should I break dance? If we get to 300 Live, I will somehow try to break dance. I might not be able to do it here, but I'll have to post a video. What could I do if I hit 300 Live? I mean, right now we're at 237, and it's almost 8:30. So if you guys share this on Facebook, Twitter, tell everyone you gotta tune into NoDQ Live. This is the best video series on YouTube, the best live wrestling discussion after Monday Night Raw. Share it. We're at 247 right now. 250, I mean, I will do something special if we hit 250. I don't know what, but I owe you guys something if we hit 250, and by the end of the week, I will deliver on it. Whether it's more video content or another special video, I will do something special out of the ordinary this week if we hit 250. We're so close. We were at 246, and it's now 9:30, so you guys got to go on your Facebook account, your Twitter account, and share this video. And suggest some ideas. What would you like to see me do? And you can all agree on something. If I hit 250 tonight, I would do it. Now we're down to 236, so we're moving in the wrong direction. So let's get back to wrestling talk and see if we can get that number up to 250. I did not see 250. I saw 246 on my screen here. So Hamp said, wear a Donald Trump hat. Wrestle the cat. I already got scratched earlier today, so I don't know about wrestling the cat. I do not want to get my ass kicked. Despite what you guys think about me having the guns, the cats will still kick my ass. Vote 1 for Aaron doing the Spinner-Rooney. Alright, I will attempt the Spinner-Rooney on video. I will post it this week on NoDQ if we hit 250 viewers. I will do a video of myself attempting a Booker T Spinaroonie, not a Spooneroonie, but a Spinaroonie. Maybe I can invent a Spooneroonie. So we got to get 250 for that. We were really close. And from right now, if I hit it earlier, that doesn't count. Right now, we got to hit 250. So anyways, let's get back to the wrestling discussion. Is there anything about Raw that I have not covered that you guys would like me to discuss? Looking at some of the comments here. Trying to remember what else happened on Raw. We saw Goldust turn heel again. So Goldust is apparently going back and forth with his gimmick. Spinaroonie is the naked version. Thoughts on Jason Jordan? So tonight we had Jason Jordan turn up with Matt Hardy, and apparently Booker T already forgot that Jason Jordan teamed up with the Hardys, which was funny. I still think the guy needs a heel turn, you know, unless WWE decides to give him the Roman Reigns push where they're just going to shove him down everyone's throats because he gets a reaction. I mean, here's the thing. At No Mercy at the Staples Center, the fans were loud for Jordan versus The Miz. Jordan got heavily booed. So as far as WWE is concerned, in their eyes, this is a success. Jason Jordan is getting reactions. People are making noise for the guy, so this must be working. So wouldn't surprise me if Jordan stays in this role now, if the crowd starts giving him the Roman Reigns treatment. They booed him very heavily. Will Matt go broken now that Jeff's injured? Great question. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Matt Hardy. I hope WWE will continue to use him, but the fact is, there was the whole nostalgia there for those guys, the Hardy Boys. You know, there's people wanting to see the Hardy Boys and relive their childhood. The Hardys, for them to really stay relevant long term, they need the broken gimmick or at least some sort of variation of it. So I'm hoping WWE will be creative with Matt Hardy. I was really hoping maybe Bray would move on to some sort of storyline with Matt Hardy, maybe try to start a new Wyatt family, and then he attempts to recruit Matt, but Matt is against it, and then Matt kind of maybe joins him a little bit, but then breaks off and does some sort of offshoot of the broken gimmick. I just feel like there's so many more creative things. Vince Out of Touch McMahon says, is Mike Kanellis going to get buried now because Maria is pregnant? Well, this is actually perhaps a blessing in disguise. I'm not talking about the NoDQ Forms blessing. I think maybe this will be a good thing for Mike because it'll end the Power of Love segment with Maria being off of television. Maybe WWE will do something different with Mike and let him be himself, Mike Bennett, again, and change up his character, because I've said this before, I think that the character was in a lot of trouble. Oh, Interstate Kyle is back in Northern California, so everyone say hi to Interstate Kyle. He is back in NorCal, Tracy, California. Glad you made it home safe. Looking at some of the other comments here. Somebody said Enzo was entertaining. Oh, Vince Out of Touch McMahon said, stop rubbing your feet, Kyle. Chris says, should Nia Jax be pushed? Yes. When I was there at No Mercy at Staples Center, the crowd bought into Nia Jax when she did all of her big power moves. The crowd was really into her, and they take her seriously. If WWE actually got it together with her and booked her like the female Andre the Giant, like people are claiming she is, then she could do really well in WWE. They're not really utilizing her, I think, to the best of their ability. I think people see money in her. And now with Asuka coming up, it would make sense to do something significant with Nia Jax and build up to an eventual Asuka versus Nia Jax match. John says, where does Braun go from here? Great question. I mean, I could potentially see Braun facing Samoa Joe when Joe comes back. Joe, I'm not sure if he's going to be back in time for TLC, but he should be back fairly soon in the next couple weeks, sometime in October. And I could see that being a program, doing Samoa Joe versus Braun Strowman, the battle of the badasses. I could see that happening. Do you think Roman will win the Rumble? Oh, man, I hope not. I mean, I think that's just a terrible idea. I really hate to say it, but I think WrestleMania is going to be Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar and John Cena versus Jinder Mahal. I really hate to say that. To quote The Rock, if those are the main events for WrestleMania, then WrestleMania is going to absolutely suck. I'm not really looking forward to either of those matches at WrestleMania. Yeah, Roman and Lesnar had a good match at WrestleMania. I was there for that, but I'm you know, Roman Reigns beating Lesnar, John Cena beating Mahal and winning his 17th title, just, to me, it's so predictable and just dull. Not really a big fan of it. Hire the 5 what culture guys to NoDQ. If they're willing to work for free, I will have them aboard, because I don't have the budget to pay their salaries. And, you know, I cannot even afford a crown for that king guy, so, you know, can't really go there for that. Roman needs to be involved in a house of... I'm not going to say what he just said there. I will censor myself. AJ Styles versus Bobby Roode at WrestleMania. I prefer AJ versus Nakamura. You know, they did that little tease at Money in the Bank, and I think they need to go with that. Roman versus Rosie at WrestleMania. Oh, I can't even believe I read that. Gotta filter out the trolls here. I need to get some moderators in here for sure, because there's a lot of comments in here that might not fly too well with most people. Where is Bobby Roode? I'm hoping we'll see Bobby Roode this week or next week. One would think Bobby Roode will have a match at Hell in a Cell, probably against Dolph Ziggler. I'm assuming that's where it's going. We're going to see Ziggler come out as Bobby Roode, and then Roode confronts him and sets up that match. Do you think SmackDown is the better show? Right now, I don't think so. I think that they're neck and neck. I think some weeks Raw is better, some weeks SmackDown is better. Obviously, before the Superstar shakeup, SmackDown was consistently better, but now it has definitely shifted for me. SmackDown has some good weeks, some bad weeks. SmackDown is the easier show to watch. Yeah, that's the thing. SmackDown will always have the advantage of being a 2-hour show. So it's always going to be easier for SmackDown to be a more watchable show at this stage of the game. Kyle said, did you regret not going to Booker's thing in Hollywood? No, because I was extremely busy, as you can imagine, after the pay-per-view. I did the live video in the car, drove home, posted a bunch of news on the site. So I was just, you know, it was tough, you know. I would have liked to have gone, but I wish they had done it before Raw. I'll just say that, Kyle. Yes, you did meet the TNA champion, or, you know, he did get to meet the great Interstate Kyle. You can look at it that way as well. Aaron, can you buy me McDonald's? No, I only buy Jeff Meacham McDonald's. Is Kevin Owens going to face Triple H at WrestleMania? I could definitely see that happening. Kevin Owens, I could see him beating Shane McMahon, and that's what sets up Triple H's return. But like I've said in previous videos, I'd rather see Triple H align himself with Owens again and maybe do another family feud and maybe do an NXT invasion of the main roster. I mean, I think that would be really interesting. Just change it up. Do something different. But yeah, I mean, Triple H, even though I'm not the biggest fan of it, I could see him doing a match at WrestleMania, and Owens would seem like a logical opponent, you know, if you want to keep the family feud going. When will Trish come back? I don't think she's coming back to wrestle, if that's what your question is implying. I think she might appear every now and then for a cameo, but beyond that, you know, she's doing other things. All right, this Gregory guy has got to go. How do we ban people on here? Let's see. Okay. Well, I know the people I got to ban, so for those of you leaving the inappropriate comments, you will be terminated, as Arnold might say. Oh, we hit 253, so I have to do it. I have to do a spin-a-rooney on YouTube, so this week, later this week, I will post a video of myself attempting a spin-a-rooney. I cannot do it now because I don't have the setup here for it. There's literally no room. I would not even have room to do a spin-a-rooney in here. So, later this week, I promise, I will do a spin-a-rooney video. Aaron Rift attempts to do a spin-a-rooney. It will probably be the worst spin-a-rooney you've ever seen, but I will do it. Since we hit 250, and now we're back down to 242, so damn you guys. All right, Spin-a-Rooney coming up on NoDQ video. Next goal next week is 300 viewers, and I will have a new stipulation for that. Again, if you enjoy the video, please share it. Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, Lycos, Alta Vista, any site that you go on, Yahoo News, whatever. Please spread the word. Tell a friend about NoDQ video. Do you think Karma would ever return? I don't know. I don't think she will. It feels to me like that opportunity has already come and gone. I mean, anything's possible, and she is part of the show Glow on Netflix, but I think that if she was going to be back, she would have been back by now. How about Caitlyn returning? So that's in the news. Caitlyn has been training, and I could see her possibly coming back, maybe having one more shot. Definitely now that the women's division is being taken more seriously, I could see her getting another opportunity for sure. Would not surprise me at all. Eric says, who do you think will be Strowman's WrestleMania opponent? Maybe Joe. Maybe WWE will save it for WrestleMania. Maybe Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman. Maybe Strowman and Wyatt against the Hardys if Jeff Hardy is back in time. Jeff, I think, you know, with the torn rotator cuff surgery, the recovery is usually around 6 months. So it's going to be touch and go if Jeff Hardy can be back for WrestleMania. Boogerman says, will Jinder go back to being a jobber after he drops the title? I could see that. I could see him being back to like the mid-card, but I think he'll still be pushed to some degree. I mean, who knows? I think it would be stupid to just put him right back into the opening matches after being WWE Champion. I could see him being like JBL, where he loses and then he's in the upper mid-card for a while. Maybe he gets a rematch for the title. And then, you know, he'll be somewhere. You know, he'll be like where Rusev is now. Rusev's kind of just there as a mid-card heel feuding with the top guys like Randy Orton. You know, where The Miz has been for the past several years. I could see Mahal being there for a while. Will the Singh brothers ever be big champions? Doubt it. Don't think so. I think they're basically there to bump for Mahal and you know, help get him over as a heel, and that's about it. Thoughts on the Ric Flair 30 for 30 on ESPN? I don't think I've seen it yet. I might have, but I don't think I have. Is this recent? I'm not even sure. It might be really recent. I might be thinking of something completely different. Maybe there was another 30 for 30. Yeah, Gregory Power is definitely getting banned when this is all said and done. Actually, is there a way to ban this guy now? Yeah, I gotta ban Gregory, guys. Gregory, leave a comment here so I can find your username. Let's see here. All right, wait a minute. Here we go. Put in timeout. There we go. He is officially in timeout. So, Gregory Power, you are in timeout, my friend. And once I get the chance, you will be banned from the channel. Anybody else? I eat ass. Okay, that guy might be next. Paige return feud. I think Paige, if she comes back, and I think there's a decent chance of her coming back with her movie coming out, I could see Paige maybe feuding with Charlotte or Becky Lynch. I think that you could play up on their past faction together. The PCB, was it called? Something like that. They could do maybe a reunion of the group and then have one of them turn heel. I could definitely see something like that. Yes, Gregory getting deleted was wonderful. Somebody said I was into Paige until the leak. Somebody said I think it's interesting that Paige and Xavier Woods are on the same brand. Could Shawn Michaels return to face AJ at WrestleMania? No, not happening. If it was going to happen, Shawn would have come back for the Royal Rumble when that teaser poster was put out there on the internet. It's not happening, folks. Shawn's not coming back. He's like the one guy that is happy being retired and doesn't want to come back and tarnish that retirement stipulation. Is Jericho's WWE debut the best of all time? Definitely. That's got to be one of the best ones in my opinion. One of the top returns, or should I say debuts of all time. I mean, Jericho had a great return in 2007, but that debut in '99, I mean, that was one of the most exciting moments in the history of Raw. You know, for all those years, Jericho was just not getting the big break, and when he finally showed up in one night, he was a major superstar. He had accomplished more in one night than he did in most of his WCW run. You know, I think there were a few really good highlights for Jericho in WCW, but really that one promo against The Rock made Jericho's career and made him a true bona fide superstar in WWE. Shield Hall of Fame induction. I could see it happening, you know, would not surprise me at all. I mean, that's way in the future. That's not going to happen. If it does happen, I don't see that happening for like 20 years. So, will it happen eventually? Probably, but, you know, it's definitely down the road, pretty far away. Brandon said Enzo was a god on the mic. Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, Enzo did a tremendous job during that promo. Bullet Club at Raw. Yeah, I did mention that earlier. The Bullet Club was outside the arena in Ontario. I got a bunch of different reports from people that they were out there, you know, shilling their stuff and, you know, doing the reincarnation of DX from '98 when DX invaded WCW. Will the Clique reunite on television? Well, if you count the Hall of Fame, they did already. There was that Clique reunion at the end of the Hall of Fame with the five guys. But on Monday Night Raw, you know, if there's an opportunity for it, you know, if WWE does another big Raw special like Raw 1000 and all five guys are available, then yeah, I could see something like that happening. Did you hit 250 viewers? Yes, I did. So coming up this week, Aaron Riff does a Spin-a-Rooney. Let's see here. What's your current prediction for Nakamura versus Mahal at Hell in a Cell? I want to see Nakamura win the title. I'm tired of Jinder Mahal as the WWE champion, but I just don't know. I really don't at this point. I don't have a prediction. I would not be surprised if Mahal retains at this point. I could see him having it until WrestleMania. I really don't want to say that, but wouldn't shock me if John Cena comes back after his movie and beats Mahal to win his 17th title. So, I mean, Nakamura could win it and then lose it back, but the feud just isn't working for me, and I just have this feeling WWE's not going to go with Nakamura all the way and do something. Rami said I talk slow. So, some people say I talk too fast. Some people say I talk too slow. So, I'm not sure what you guys prefer, but am I talking too fast or too slow? You guys let me know. Did you watch the new doc for Hulk Hogan, what he did on TMZ? No, I did not. I'm not even sure what you're talking about. Marshall said, I love NoDQ. Thank you, Marshall. I appreciate it. Please keep spreading the word. Somebody said, I talk medium. Somebody said, I'm fine. So, apparently, I'm talking all right. When is Better Call Saul coming back? Next year. NoDQ is my religion. Well, I am your God then. So, thank you for your support, and thank you for the comments. Aaron promo is better than Roman Reigns. I appreciate that. Where can we buy NoDQ shirts? ProWrestlingTees.com. Search NoDQ. I usually have a link in the description box of most of the videos. You can try to find it, or just search NoDQ on Pro Wrestling Tees and you'll find the channel. Why is Reigns still in the mid-card? Ha! That was a funny one, John. Aaron Riff 316. Your opinion on Karma. I already talked about her earlier. It's a shame that she didn't really get the opportunity in WWE. Maybe she was a couple years too soon. But, you know, when she debuted, there was a lot of hope for her, and then she faded away, you know, the whole pregnancy thing and all that stuff going on in her personal life. It just didn't work out. Aaron, you're the man. Thank you for that. Why is Strowman feuding with Kurt Hawkins? They're not feuding. Strowman just beat him up. That was it. That's the gimmick every week. Kurt Hawkins comes out and says he's going to end his losing streak, and then somebody comes out there and kicks his ass. That's his gimmick. He's not feuding with anybody right now. What are your thoughts on Monty Brown? I thought he was pretty good. Yes, I agree. I felt he was another guy that shouldn't have faded away so quickly. Now, I believe he also had some personal stuff. He had to take care of family members, and that's why he walked away. He never came back, which is a shame. I mean, that Pounce move was awesome, and TNA dropped the ball with that guy. I mean, they dropped the ball with so many people. Monty Brown was definitely one of those guys that should have been a bigger star than he was. Brandy Rhodes for Worst Wrestler of the Year. Ouch. She's married to a Bullet Club member, though. How can you say that? Everything the Bullet Club does is great, right? Wait a minute. Hawkins, 200 losses. I'm not even sure what his streak is right now. Jay Lethal in WWE, question mark. I think there's a possibility for it to happen. I think he should get an opportunity. He has definitely showed some potential on the mic. You know, a lot of people remember that segment with Ric Flair, and Jay Lethal was very entertaining in that segment. That was one of the better TNA segments from that period. So yeah, I would love to see Jay Lethal get an opportunity in WWE. The guy can definitely talk. We saw it in the segment with Ric Flair. He held his own. He was able to be as entertaining as Ric Flair in a segment. So that was impressive, and you know, he should definitely get a chance to shine in WWE at some point. Jim Ross or Mauro Ranallo from Tyler. Jim Ross. I mean, Jim Ross, in my opinion, the greatest announcer of all time, but Ranallo's great too. Ranallo, I feel, should be the lead play-by-play announcer in WWE, period. Funny thing, Michael Cole got heavily booed at No Mercy when he came out before the kickoff. Crowd hated him, so they just don't respect the guy, even though I think Cole does a decent job, you know. He has a lot of experience, and his job is not easy. He goes out there, and I think he does pretty well. I think he gets a little bit of a bad rep. But at the same time, he just says whatever is fed to him. You know, he's the company man. I think he does a good job, but I definitely feel Ranallo is more entertaining and puts more passion into it. You know, I'd rather see Ranallo be the lead guy than Michael Cole. And I think a lot of people would agree on that. Most boring match you ever saw, from Mark Johnson. Most boring match live I ever saw was John Cena versus JBL WrestleMania 21. I almost fell asleep during that match. Bored me to tears. There was a match in 2009 that I thought was pretty boring. It was a SmackDown. I think it was Umaga versus somebody. And I hate to say this because I think it might have been Umaga's last televised WWE match, but it was really boring. The show in general was boring, though, so, you know, it could have been that also. Anyways, that'll wrap it up for this edition of NoDQ Live. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Breaking 250 viewers tonight, which is a new record. Next time, which is actually going to be tomorrow night, let's try to hit 300. It's really hard for SmackDown. SmackDown, you know, not as many people watch, but we'll give it the old college try. Tomorrow night, let's shoot for 300. Every night I try to shoot for 300. So let's do it. Tomorrow night, NoDQ Live will be back after SmackDown Live. F205 Live, even though they put it in the main event segment, I'm still going head-to-head with them. So right after SmackDown Live, it is NoDQ Live. Stay tuned for that. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest, and I will be back next time for more. Thanks for watching. See you guys later.